Okay, here we go. We're going to start coloring in our Quetzal, which is our Guatemalan bird that symbolizes goodness and light. And it's also important to the people of Guatemala. It's on their national emblem, on their flag. It's their currency. So it's a really important bird. I am so happy that we learned about it. And I'm also happy that we learned about Rousseau and how he created his artworks using his imagination. So we kind of put these ideas together, and now we have this beautiful drawing that needs to be colored in. And today we learned about different color theories or color families. And so the first one that we learned about was analogous, and those are colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. They're similar colors. So I have like a yellowish green. I have like a regular green. I'm actually gonna use yellow. Okay, so these colors are pretty close to each other on the color wheel. And we also learned about tertiary colors, meaning the yellow green, blue green. So I have a blue green here that I'm going to add to my little pile of colored pencils to use in my artwork. Now, if you don't have colored pencils, you can use the same technique for crayon. So it's fine. So I have some blue here I'm going to add in there so I can even make like a darker blue with green. Alrighty, so the last things that we talked about were shade and tint. And tint is a color, a light color, and shade is a darker color. So for example, pink is a tint and maroon is a shade. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start coloring in different feathers and leaves. So I'm going to look at my reference, which is on the Google slide, and there actually is quite a bit of this blue-green color throughout the bird. Now, if I didn't have this blue-green colored pencil, I could take green, and I can use my layers to make a blue-green. So I'm going to put my green down. And artists do this all the time. They call it layering up colors, especially with colored pencils, if you want to get that effect. And so then I take my blue, and I can go right over my green to get a blue-green color. Now, there's going to be areas on the bird that are going to look more yellowish. So I'm going to take my yellow, I'm going to add it in there. And if I can even go over that blue-green with my yellow and make it pop and blend it in with the head that was already colored in. And I'm going to go over this here with that light green. That didn't do much, so I'm going to pick a darker green. You can see that it does change it. So I'll just start adding in some green down here. And you can do this in every area. Now, part of the Quetzal bird, part of the wings, were actually black. So I'm not going to just color in that area black. I started with green because I still want that green to maybe poke through a little bit. So right down at the tips down here where I'm coloring right now, I am going to turn that into a shade of green, a dark shade of green. It's going to look almost black, but it's still going to have a little bit of green in it because green is underneath it. Because I can almost guarantee you if you look at the bird, it's just a very dark, dark green, and it's not a true black. Just add some down here. Now, up here, I want to make this part a little bit lighter. Oops. I would add white. My white broke. Good thing I have my sharpener on me. So I'm just going to go ahead and sharpen my white. Now, I think I've said this to many of my students probably a million times. It's so important that you do not drop your colored pencils on the floor, because what just happened to me, it breaking so easy, is because when you drop it, the inside of your colored pencil actually breaks, and then it's hard to keep it sharpened. So that looks a little bit lighter, kind of going over it. Okay, so my Quetzal bird is looking pretty good so far. I'm going to do a few more feathers. You can see that in the breast of the bird, there's red, orange, and then there's this area where black was added to make it look like a dark red. So that's another example of creating a shade. I'm going to come in here and do a few more feathers just to give you a really great example. And then I'm going to show you how to do the leaves. If you added flowers, you want to use that same technique. So say you wanted your flower to be pink, you might pick reds and oranges to go into that as well, maybe even a little bit of yellow. Or you may want to go on the other side of it and add in some blues and purples. Just kind of depends on how you want everything to look. Okay, I'm going to go in with my dark green in certain areas. I want to make some areas really light, so I'm going to add in white on top of it, making it into a tint. Maybe a little bit of dark area here since it's far away. Add that a shade. And so you're just going to continue that for the whole bird. Same thing when you get to these leaves. You can go in with your nice dark green. I always leave little areas where I can use different colors. Maybe a little bit darker towards the stem and around the edges like a shadow. Okay, there's one. I'm going to do this big long one. I'm going to kind of add in some of this color. I'm sorry if this is shaking. Come down. Take my dark green or my regular green. Maybe I want to have a little bit of blue in there. Little blue-green. I definitely want to have a yellow-green in there, so I'm going to go in with my yellow. Yellow is really going to make your green pop out. If I had to choose a favorite color for green, like if I have blue-green, green, olive green, I would still have to go with the yellow-green. That's my favorite. Come in here. Similar color. Again, you want to think about 3 colors in each of your areas. I'm going to add some white in here and make it nice and light. Nice tint. Alrighty, so that's about it. I'm gonna keep on coloring until it's all completed. And so now it's your turn. Have fun, get it done.